All right, hello, welcome back to Outmouse Labs. My name is Penny, and I'm glad you're here. Today we're going to be doing an RPG Maker MZ coding tutorial. Now, most of this will work for MV, and I will tell you how to make it work for MV, but by default, this is an MZ coding project. All right, today what we're going to be doing is creating a plugin that allows us to change whether the name box is aligned for a message. So what do I mean by that? I can actually show you real fast. We'll go ahead and launch our project. By default, the name box is on the left, and there's no easy way to change it. So this is default. We can also now set it to the center or to the right, and it will reset each time. Okay, so we're going to show you how to make that happen. Let's go over the code first, and then we'll show you how to implement it. All right, so this does require that you have a basic understanding of JavaScript. If you haven't watched my earlier coding tutorials, I definitely suggest you go back and take a look at doing object-oriented and how to do aliasing in plugin development. But I'll give you the basics here. So we're starting out with our js.code. This is what allows the editor to see our instructions and give the player or the developer instructions. Okay, so we have a header here just with the name. Then we have our @target. So this is an attribute, or attribute is the correct term, but this is everything that has an @ is a command that we're telling the engine something. In this case, we're telling the engine the target is MZ. Plugin description gives the description in the plugin box, the author. Then we have @command. So this means we're creating a plugin command. This is the name of our command, set name box alignment, and a description changes the alignment name box or messages. Then we have an argument called choice for our command. It is a type combo box, so choice will be a combo box. We have the options for our combo box are left, center, and right. And we have a description, alignment for the name boxes, and then a default, which is going to be left. Then we start our help. This is going to be in the main window of our plugin window. And so we have option 1, use plugin command to set alignment for name boxes. Or option 2, you can run a script before dialog message box to set the alignment. Now this is where MZ versus MV comes in. The plugin we're creating, the plugin command rather, will only work for MZ. The script, however, should work for MV. So if you were to set this up in MV, there's no reason the script command wouldn't work. I'm pretty certain anyway. So next we're just giving some instructions. If you're using the script, you're going to say, this is the script command you're going to run, and you're going to set it to either 0 for left, 1 for center, or 2 for right. And the setting will persist until changed. All right, and then I have an attribution here. The way that I set up the plugin command, I developed by looking at a plugin by Rigty12, which you can find here. Okay. So for those of you who have been following along in my previous coding tutorials, you'll recognize this. We have an object, which is called AML, and inside that object, we have another object called ranB. Objects are boxes that we can put stuff in. In that second box, we're adding the alignment flag, which we're setting to 0 by default. Then we're creating a constant plugin name, which is AML name align. Then we are creating a, so we're saying the plugin manager, which is part of MZ. Register the command, plugin name, which is the name of our plugin, and then the name of our command, which we set up here in the JS doc, right? So it has to match this. I just copy pasted it to make sure it was exactly the same. Notice it's between quotations, which makes it a string. Then we say args, which is a command in JavaScript that captures all of the arguments, and we tell it to run a function. The function is called AML name align. And that function will run args.choice. So our argument called choice, it's going to grab it. It's going to grab it and move it to lowercase. So if they put, for some reason, capital L, capital E, lowercase f, lowercase t, it's just going to become all left, all lowercase. Once it's all lowercase, we're going to run the actual function. Here is the function. It checks our choice. If it's left, it sets it to 0. Center 1, right 2. If you recognize, that's exactly what our script command does. That's why it could work as a script command or as a plugin command. So why did we bother with the plugin command? A lot of people like plugin commands. It's an easier way to see it. It is cleaner looking, arguably, and you don't have to remember anything. So that's our main reason why. Okay, so next up, we've then are going to create an alias. So very quickly, an alias is a version, a copy of a piece of RPG Maker's base code or functions that we then use so that we can make changes without affecting the base code. So we are copying window underscore namebox.prototype.update placement and putting it in this box. Once we have our copy, we're going to override the original, meaning we're going to take the original and change it. So the first thing we do to override it is we say that it's in a function. We add in our own argument, which is apply right align equals false, which I'm not sure we actually need anymore. No, that's from an earlier attempt. We're going to go ahead and delete that. So it's a function. And then we're going to run our alias. So we're going to take this and we're going to run it right here by saying .call this and arguments. So I've had a lot of people ask why this is important. The reason this is important is imagine for a second that someone else used this same base function, right? The way it works if both of us alias is we go and we override the original function. So when the game is running, it runs their overrided code, and the first thing their overrided code does is run the original. And then it moves forward. So say theirs is above the one we're making. So it's going to run the original, then move on. When it runs the original in their plugin, it's going to then run the original in our plugin and then run our code. So both sets of code all work. If we didn't make an alias, then only the first one would run. Hopefully that makes sense. Next up, we have our this.width, this.height. This just means self in any other language. It means this thing that we're talking about, this box that we're in, keep it inside, if you will. And then const message window is this dot underscore message window. All three of these are part of our original function. So when you look at the original function in RPG Maker's code, you'll see these three, and you need these three to make it work for you. Finally, we add in our new code. So this is the part that makes our new code work. If the alignment flag is 0, this.x equals message window x. So this being the window name box, x becomes the x of the message window. If it's 1, that's our center, then it's going to be the message window x plus the message window width divided by 2 minus the width of our name box. That's going to put it right in the center. Or otherwise, if it's 2, it's going to be this.x equals message window x plus the width minus this.width, which will make it right aligned. So that's the magic that actually makes it work. So hopefully all of that made sense. I'm going to go ahead and slowly go up so you can see all the code if you're copying it along. Feel free to pause it. And then I'll go up to pass the help file to our command one more time. So this is the other part that's important. Okay. So now you have that. Going over into the engine to set this up, we go into our plugin manager. We go to AML name align, or whatever you called your version. Set it to on. You'll see the author is filled in. The description is filled in. The help file is filled in. All of that came from the JS docs. And then to use it, going over to we have our script version. So script 0 means it's going to be on the left. Script again. Script 1 means it's going to be in the center, and plugin command, so doing it the other way for the third version, choice right sets it to the right. Very quickly, so you can see what these look like. That's the script version. Honestly, it's faster and more efficient if you are comfortable with the JavaScript, but if you're not, that's completely fine. Here is the plugin command. You chose this plugin. There's only one command. It tells you what to do, and it's a nice combo back, so you can't mess it up. So there you go. In case you didn't know, to access plugin command, you go to events, set 3, plugin command. All right. Discard changes. Once again, I know I showed it at the beginning, but just in case. Using script left, script center, plugin right. Hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully that helped you get an idea of what it means to create a plugin command, gives you an idea of the kinds of things you can do. And once again, thank you to RigT12 for helping me learn how to structure those plugin commands more efficiently than the way I've done it in the past. All right, hopefully this was helpful. Consider a like and subscribe. I do try to put up videos whenever I have the energy. I have some chronic illnesses, so I know I'm not as regular as some people, but I try to keep the content interesting and useful. Happy game making, y'all.